Okay, everybody, we're live. I don't see anybody. I'm having a little iced coffee here. Hello, family. Yes, I could share this. Let's copy the link. Yes. Oh, 6 people are here. Hey, everybody. I am in Tuscany. Hey, Eric. I thought I would take a moment to say hi to my This Week in Startups family. And so here we are. And I'm going to just sign into Google and sign into Twitter. Hey, wow, 35 people here already. If everybody could do me a favor, go ahead and give a thumbs up for your boy, J Cal. That's how people find out about this. We learned this last time when I did a live stream. If you hit the thumbs up button, there's 36 of you, so maybe we can get to maybe, I don't know, 15 or 20 of you, half of you could hit the thumbs up button. When the thumbs up button happens, it tells other people because it kind of lets them know, I guess, some sort of signal. And yeah, I'm in the countryside now, and it is wonderful. I hope you are all. Oh, you were on the call in, Colin. That's great. And it is wonderful here in Tuscany. The end. I hope you're all having a great time and having a great summer. I really needed a vacation, and it's been awesome. And I am signing in to my Twitter handle so I could share this with folks. Should I share it with folks? I don't know. Good question, JCal. Should I share my the fact that I'm on here with other folks? Well, let me do it on my maybe I'll do it on my phone. It'll be easier. I'm trying to figure out why I'm not logged in. Yeah, I did see Chamath and David Sachs while I was here. Chamath and Sachs, 3 or 4 besties from the All In Pod, have been here, and it's been absolutely wonderful to hang with my besties, as we say in the biz. And I thought, I don't have anything, no agenda here other than to say, hey, yeah, we had some sick wine. It was my friend's birthday, and we had some incredible wine. My friend Chamath brought like a couple of bottles of something called Latache, which is, I'm told, is the greatest bottle of wine in the world. And then we had Sassicaia. And I'm not a wine guy, but I will say that I enjoyed the wine immensely here. So the weather has been 90 degrees to 100 degrees during the day, but it kind of feels more like 85 degrees. Oh, here's my video. I'm going to just take this video and share it on. I'll share it. Oh, no, I would. No, I'm going to keep this just for us. I won't share it on Twitter. So 75 of you are here. Go ahead and give a thumbs up for your boy. If you're on the YouTube channel, hit a thumbs up. I'm going to start doing these regularly where I just turn on the YouTube channel. It sends an alert to the This Week in Startups people. And when you're on the This Week in Startups YouTube channel, there's a little alert button. If you hit that on the channel page, my understanding is then you'll get alerts when I do this. And this is just going to be a random secret little thing, different than the show, where I just say hi. And yeah, oh, you want to see what it looks like? Yeah. So back there, well, there's the countryside over there. There is just this, I mean, it's unbelievable. The countryside in Italy is great. It's my second time in Italy. Third time. I've been to Venice. I had been to Umbria, and then this time Florence and Tuscany. And then I'm staying. Well, I have the option to stay another week, so I might stay another week. Send the family home, and then just do a week here solo because I've been working on the next book. And if I could take a week here and just start writing, I can probably bang out 3,000 words a day and get 20,000 of the 60,000 words done. I'm going to just keep the book to 250 pages, so it's quick. And I have a little tiny car that I might keep and just drive. I don't know. Where would you go? What will the next book be about? The next book, I don't want to say too much other than it's kind of, it's definitely not going to be a biography. It's going to be more about how to be successful and what it takes to be successful kind of thing. So something I could have used when I was 20. So it's kind of a book for people who are in college, on how to have a successful life. I mean, that's basically my concept here. And 92 people here, 42 have given a thumbs up. If maybe another 10 or 20 of you could give a thumbs up right now, that would let the rest of the subscribers know. And then if you're on the channel page, go ahead and hit that alert button and you'll get an alert. I wonder, tell me if you happen to be on YouTube and then just happen to see this live video there, or you got an alert. How many people here got an alert? I'm trying to figure this out. Oh, somebody here says they listened to the Lex episode. Recommendations for podcasts. Yes, I have a couple of recommendations for podcasts. I like listening to iconoclastic people who think very differently than me. So I don't agree with the following people on everything, but I like to hear a radical range of opinions so I'm well informed. This helps me when I do this show, when I think about the world, and when I host the All In podcast. So on the spectrum, I like Preet Bharara's Stay Tuned, and then his Paid One Cafe Insider and Lawfare. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not into the law, but I like hearing how lawyers break down stuff. So those are very niche podcasts. Cafe.com is Preet Bharara's paid. Cafe Insider, I think it's called. And then he does Stay Tuned with Preet. Then I add to that Lawfare, because they always talk about the Lawfare blog, which is a bunch of lawyers geeking out. And there's a Lawfare podcast. So that's how I get my law stuff. Then I also like entertainment. And so there's a podcast from the Ringer Network called The Watch that I particularly like. And there's another one called the Bret Easton Ellis podcast, which you have to subscribe to on Patreon. But I think you could spend $5 a month on it. And he's a very iconoclastic. He's not pro-Trump, but he is anti-cancel culture and anti-hysteria. And he's gay, an author who's into, like, you've seen American Psycho, right? Like, he believes in freedom of speech and all this kind of stuff. So very interesting take on Hollywood. And he's kind of like a Hollywood outsider, if that makes sense. And he just had, who did he have on the program that was really good? Quentin Tarantino. Also, Brian Koppelman is very good. So Brian Koppelman and Bret Easton Ellis and The Watch give me my entertainment. Then you got Cafe Insider, Lawfare, and Stay Tuned with Preet gives me my law. Then on culture and young people, there's a podcast called Red Scare, which are two women from New York who are part of what they call the dirtbag left. And it reminds me of when I was in New York. They're kind of like, they'll use the R word. They won't say the other bad words, but they are irreverent and insightful at moments and interesting. And it gives you a kind of a window into maybe younger artistic people and how they think. And so I like that. And I think every other episode is free and then you can pay for it. So I like that podcast as well. What podcast do you like and do you listen to? I'm curious. I also like Scott Adams. Again, I don't agree with him, but I like listening to people I don't agree with, because I think part of understanding the world is listening to people who you don't agree with and who think differently than you. So Scott Adams is another Trump guy, loves Trump, is depressed Trump's not on. He's kind of a little bit annoyed. But I think he listens to the All In podcast, because he referenced when I talked about building nuclear power and desalinization plants up and down the coast of California, and how these small nuclear reactors combined with desalinization would solve energy, global warming, and counteract the wildfires and make water free and energy free. So that was kind of a cool thing to hear him sort of mentions us. Somebody mentioned Brian Koppelman. That's great. Lex Friedman's good too. Yeah. Valuetainment, Panic with Friends. I don't know that one. Acquired is great. I have the Acquired guys on all the time. Indie Hackers is great. I've had the Indie Hacker guy on before. Should entrepreneurs be worried about VCs taking their ideas? Great question. I'm going to answer this one from Ryan Pace. And we're at 67 thumbs up. If I get to 75, I'll take a second question. We're at 67 right now. So thumb it up if you want me to take another question. You should not worry about VC stealing your idea. However, you should not send all of your information out all the time. When you email a deck to a VC, a short deck is 10 slides that explains your concept, explains the market, explains who you are, maybe shows the product. or a deal memo, which is another format people are using instead of a deck. That allows a venture capitalist to quickly kind of get an overview and decide if they want to take a meeting. It's not to get money, it's to get a meeting. Now, there are techniques you're using that will make your business very successful. Those techniques, aka secret sauce, is something you should keep very close to your vest. I would not give the technique that you figured out on how to acquire your customers or how to find your most talented employees. Keep that to yourself. You don't need to share that. That's your little secret weapon. Like if you're working in the kitchen and you know how to make the perfect steak or perfect pasta al dente and you have a secret ingredient in your sauce, you don't need to tell people that. Now, to tell people you have an Italian restaurant and here's how much the pasta costs, well, they could go to your restaurant and figure that out. So what's on your website is not a big deal. VCs do not have the time, energy, and typically the know-how or desire to compete with you. And they also do not send your information to other founders. I've heard of that like once, and some other person has told me another time. This is in 30 years in the industry. Why don't they do it? Because it's lame to do it. It's unethical. And it would be career ending if people found out. So nobody really does that. So I don't think you really have to worry about it. So when am I coming to India? I would love to come to India at some point. I had all these great speaking gigs pre-COVID. I was going to go on a trip to Japan, then the Philippines, and then Singapore. 3 paid speaking gigs. I was going to sweep through there, grab that cash, bring my squad with me, do the speaking gigs, hit all the Oman hotels and killer hotels, and all got canceled. So it was a bummer. It's one of the things I like about the world and being human is traveling. And so it's just wonderful to be here in Italy for 2 weeks, maybe 3. And My First Million's great. Yeah, that's a great podcast. All right, so I'll take another question. When is the All In coming to London? Actually, London is on the short list for All In. And we are actually thinking about doing an all-in summit with the top 100 most iconoclastic people in the world. So imagine, people who think differently. Maybe you disagree with them, you like them. So imagine 100 people coming to one location. Each bestie brings 25 people. So we each make our list. We check if there's duplicates. We invite them to come, no charge. Then we record content with some number of them. So I think it would be pretty interesting. You can't buy a ticket. It's invite only, kind of like Sun Valley, 3 days, etc. So yeah, I think that'd be pretty good. I am not going to the boat with Sachs. I get seasick. I don't like boats. I did rent a boat once and go diving on the Great Barrier Reef in Australia with my team when I was there for the launch festival in Australia. And I loved diving the Great Barrier Reef. It was sad at times when you saw the reef dead, and then other times it was inspiring. So yeah, but I'm not a boat guy. But I was going to try to go to the boat, but it would have been like hours of traveling. I'm with the kids, and I wanted to stay in Florence. And I saw the statue of David. Michelangelo is a genius. I saw this. I got to tell you, folks, it was an epiphany and a welled with emotion seeing the beauty of the statue of David. I almost cried. I looked in his eyes. I looked at that moment when he's fighting Goliath, and it just hit me in my core. It only has ever happened one other time with art, which was the Venus de Milo, which is in the basement of the Louvre. And I saw the Mona Lisa, and I was like, Mona Lisa, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, the David. Oh my God, unbelievable. Did any of you watch the episode with Glenn from Redfin? If you haven't, he's an extraordinary guest. We chopped it up. He is honest, insightful, just amazing. Okay, so I'm at 100. If I get to 110 thumbs up, I'll take another question. So if you hit the thumbs up, we get to 110. I'll look in the questions. I'll take another one. We're at 186. As you hit the thumbs up, more people find out about it. They get more alerts. Oh, Jeremy says he loved that episode. Okay, 114. I got to take another question. Here we go. When is Elon coming on the pod? I actually talked to him about it. He said he would love to come on. So here's the thing. Everybody wants to ask me about Elon. Everybody wants me to talk about it. I don't like talking about my relationship with him all that much. And he's so famous now. And every time I talk about him or my friendship with him, it just becomes a news story, and it's really annoying. And so when it was 10 years ago, I talked about it all the time. You guys know that. I'd be talking about Tesla, talking about how much I love my Roadster. But as time has gone on, I've basically taken a policy. I don't introduce people to Elon. I don't talk about Elon publicly, because it just winds up with 50 people hitting reply on Twitter and then CCing him, and then the press call me. I mean, it's just a fucking disaster. Like, he's so famous that every journalist wants to write a story about it. And, he's a good friend of mine. I would like to keep that private, right? So, I mean, I'll talk about it here for a second, but I don't answer questions about him. I don't talk to the press about him. I don't talk to other people. I get 50 requests a week, and 10 of them are from my friends. And they're all like, hey, can you introduce me? It used to be Travis. It used to be Mark Cuban. Now it's Vlad from Robinhood. Sometimes it's Elon. And I'm just like, you know what? Those friendships and relationships I have are not here to solve your problem. Like, literally, people ask me, can you ask Travis, or can you ask, this person to host my kids' charity auction, or, auction off a lunch with that. I'm like, are you fucking crazy? Like, you want me to ask Travis, who's running Uber and Now Cloud Kitchens, to host a lunch for your kid's school? No, I'm not. They're busy. Don't ask me to. If you knew, I'm not asking you to do that. I don't ask my friends who are celebrities to ask their celebrity. Oh, can you? I have a friend who's friends with Tom Cruise. I don't ask him, hey, can you get Tom Cruise to come on my podcast? Come on, people. I mean, it's lame. Okay, well, I've got 127 thumbs up, so I got to take another question. Hey, can you introduce us to Monty? Come on, Monty. Monty's different. I might introduce you to Monty the dog. What's your take on SoftBank's latest Latin America rounds? I don't know what they're doing at SoftBank. I did have lunch with Masayoshi-san twice, back-to-back days when I was in Japan. I'll tell the story someday, but really smart guy. And we jammed out for like 2 or 3 hours each time. Really smart, cool cat. What are some of the best companies taking part in the current launch accelerator? Well, I'll talk about the whole 23 classes we've had. There are a number of companies that are now doing over $10 million in revenue a year, or over $100 million in value, without going into specifically which ones have which amount of revenue. Blockable, which makes modular housing, Fitbod, which is a fitness subscription app, Lead IQ, and Soul Savvy, which is an online community for sneakerheads, and then Grin.co, Grin.co. All of those companies are absolutely crushing it. All of them have huge valuations, raise tons of money. So with the accelerator, we put in $100K for 6%. We take a lot of risk. If one of those companies becomes worth, $1 billion, and we are diluted half, that'd be 3%. That'd be $30 million for us as a fund. If we get one of those for every 100 companies, we break even, or actually we have a 3x return for our fund, which is what we need to have for me to keep raising funds. So I basically need to hit a decent sized company, every 100 companies. And we've had 23. So 7 times 23 is 161, I think. So 7 times, 140. 143 times 7 is 21. Yeah. So out of 161, we now have like, a half dozen companies worth hundreds of millions of dollars each. So it's a huge success. It is a shit ton of work. I kid you not, to run an accelerator. I've got 2 or 3 people working on it at all times. Jackie, Presh, Charlie, just everybody. And you have to sort through the companies, and it's 16 weeks, and we do 20 sessions with them. It is too much work, but we do it because we love it. And it's actually not as efficient as just directly investing in companies. We probably shouldn't do it. I'll be totally honest. If I was more cutthroat and only cared about making money, I would just do direct investments with the syndicate, put $1 million in, own 20% of companies, 10% of companies, put $2 million, own 15%, and just be done with it. But I like it. So sometimes you got to make a decision in life to do the things you like, even though they're not the most efficient. And so don't ask me questions about Elon, please. Just asking that, please. What do you think about forest management tech? I know nothing about that, Vlad, and I would love to hear more. If you have a forest management company, you should email me. I was looking for things for homes to help stop homes from going up in fire. So I had my own ideas about that. Like, I thought somebody should create a blanket that goes over a home, like a Kevlar or something. And I looked online, and I actually found people have blankets that go over cars. So in the case that a car's on fire or there's a fire, you can cover a car and it's heat resistant, and it will keep the car from getting burned up. So why not have that for a house? And why not be able to drop it from a helicopter on top of a house? So I'm wondering if there's like a $50,000 blanket you could put over, a $5 million house in Napa when there's a forest fire, and then the embers won't hit it and the heat won't get in it, and it might save a house. If anybody wants to work on that concept, I would give you the first $100,000 in seed funding to just work on a concept of building a blanket that's fire retardant, that you figure out a way to put it on a home, that it covers it, and then we could run an experiment. We could literally get a shed, put something on top of it, put it in the middle of a forest fire, and see what happens. Okay. I'm at 137. If I get to 150, I'll take another question or two. We got 241 people watching. Pretty cool. What are your thoughts on the future of the industry Thumbtack is in? So Thumbtack, we were seed investors in. I was the second investor in that company. Marco, amazing. His partner, amazing. The local services business is a really hard business. They've suffered through 3 or 4 business models at Thumbtack to figure it out. I do not recommend people go into local services business. Amazon tried to do it. They quit. I think there's ServiceNow, Craigslist. A lot of people have tried it. It's too fucking hard. Don't do it unless you really want to suffer and try to figure it out. It's really, really, really hard. All right, 144. We're 6 away from taking another question here. And remember, if you're watching now, if you give a thumbs up on the channel page, it lets other people know that this is live and maybe they'll watch it. And if you hit the thumbs up, and when you go to our channel page, there is a bell. And if you hit the bell, you'll get alerted when I do random streams like this. And I might do a couple next week from Italy where I just take your questions. It's an intimate group. And we do that. Did anybody get an alert about this? I'm curious. Or were people just on YouTube? Just put in, I got an alert in the chat room if you did get an alert, or put I was on YouTube if you happen to be on YouTube when this happened. Have you been approached by founders working on a Black social media app? I got some, but they were all very niche apps and they were ideas and people weren't executing on them. So I like to find people who can actually build and not people who have ideas. So I have the idea, hey, a Black social network with 20 of the top Black founders on TikTok, Black creatives, would be great. Oh, so here we go. YouTube. Oh, you guys were all on YouTube and you found this. I get it. So go put the alert on. And if you put the alert on, the next time you'll actually get a bell and a little alert when I go live. And it's a really cool feature. I do it for Scott Adams. I do it for Knicks Fan TV. So on a couple of these accounts that I really like that go live, I actually hit the bell, and then it's kind of cool because you get to have this, like, it's almost like having a Zoom with like your friend, and I'm your friend, right? I'm your pal, J-Cal. Your pal, J-Cal. I like that. So anyway, back to Black TikTok or Black TikTok competitor or Black Instagram competitor. Having the idea is not as important as of actually doing stuff in the world. So it's our business is show business, not tell business. So a lot of people are telling me they have the idea. They're not showing me what they can do. I need somebody who can actually build the app, not somebody who says, oh, I like that idea. I can write a 1-page summary of your idea to do this. Because my idea was just get the 20 top TikTokers, give them each, 2% of the company. If they do X number of videos over the next 4 years, they vest over 4 years, over 50 months. If they do 50 months, if they did a weekly video, that'd be like 4 years, 50 months. If you did 8 videos a month, so if you did 400 videos, you earn your 2%, right? So that would be like a really cool concept. Now you might change that. It might be 10 people at 5%. It might be 500 people at, 10 basis points. You could figure it out. But I need somebody who actually can build the app and make forward progress, not just people who email me and say, that's a great idea, I'll do it. It doesn't help me. I need people who actually can build, and I haven't gotten anybody like that yet. Am I interested in the DevOps or tool space? Possibly. If you had 5 or 10K a month in revenue in a dev tool and you were growing 10% a month, I would be interested. If you were at 10 to 50K a month and you were growing 10 or 20% a month, I'd be very interested. So some kind of a pulse for that tool. The problem with the tools business is sometimes they stay very small. So it's better to run it as a lifestyle business, which means you just sweep the cash yourself personally. There's not enough money there to get to 100 million in revenue. So the developer community is a couple million developers in the world. You get 1% of that. You get 10,000, 50,000 developers paying $10 a month. It could be interesting, but it may not be venture scale. All right, we're at 166. I'll take one more question. If we get to 175 thumbs up, I'll take another one. Okay, let's see if I like any of these questions. Oh, great one. What kind of traction would you look for in a pre-seed stage company? Pre-seed, let's take that term out of there, pre-seed. Pre-seed is just a term some founder made to be clever. Seed extension, pre-series A, put all the terms aside. Let's talk about traction. What kind of traction do I want to see? I'd like to see you have a product in market that 5 people are paying for that are not your friends. Sound good? Or if there's no business model yet, the business model, you've got hundreds of people to thousands of people using it a day, and it's growing 5% week over week. So you had 100 people this week, next week you had 105, the week after that you got whatever that is, an extra 6 people or something. You get the idea. So that works really well. Okay, well, you got to 186. I got to take another question. If I get to 200, I'll take 200 thumbs up. I'll take another question. Looking for a right-hand person. I have 5+ years in Accelerator experience and have invested in 30 startups. Wow. Tap in. I am not hiring right now, but I'm intrigued. I'll tell you how I get people for my investment company. I hire researchers. A researcher, somebody with an MBA out of school, I hire them for like 50 grand. They work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. They suffer for a year out of school, trying to figure it out. And we're a finance company. So the expectation is you're going to work hard, 50, 60 hours a week, minimum. You're going to be checking your email on the weekend. If I email you or text you at night, we're trying to close a deal, you'll leave dinner. If you're in a movie, you'll tell me the movie's over in 50 minutes. Do you want me to leave the movie or can it wait 50 minutes? You get the idea. You need to be committed. It's not quite like Billions or Goldman Sachs, but it's not like a kumbaya, easy job. If you work as a researcher for a year or two and you find a couple of great companies and the people who work with you think you're hardworking, then you become an analyst. Now you become an analyst. Now you're making 70, 80 grand. Become an analyst. Then you become a principal. You make another 20, 30 grand a year. You become a managing director. You make another 20, 30 grand a year, whatever it is. And then you move up the ladder. And so that probably takes a person, from researcher, analyst, associate managing director, 5 to 10 years. If you do that, then you're on the track to become a partner, junior partner, or whatever at a venture fund. And so I don't have any partners in my company. I'm a solo GP and I'm going to remain that way. But I have this giant staff of associates, I think we have 2 managing directors, 1 principal, 2 associates, 3 researchers. So 8 people right now working on my deal flow. So all these emails come to me and then I give it to them. Now, some of them are now actually emailing founders they find on the internet, they find interesting, and then getting them to do what we call an introductory meeting. So here we go. I got 200, so I got to take one more question. If I get to 220, I will take one more question, but then I got to go to a barbecue up there. My friend's hosting a barbecue. So I'll take another question because I'm at 200. If you thumbs up and we get to 220, I'll have no choice but to take a second question. So give a thumbs up for your boy, J-Cal. Your pal, J-Cal. Thumbs up for your boy. Thumbs up for your squad. Taking that from my friend, CP, the franchise over at Knicks Fan TV. If you are a fan of the Knicks, do a Google search or do a YouTube search for Knicks Fan TV. Knicks Fan TV, they do a live like this when they have breaking news or when they want to talk about something. So it's pretty cool. I can't believe anybody lives on 50K a year. When I started at UPS 91, starting salary was 36. What happened with the last 30 years? It's actually a really interesting point. Since we are now global, we have people who are living in Canada. We have people living in the middle of America. 50K makes no sense in New York or San Francisco. Totally agree. So what I decided to do was I want to give the opportunity to people out of school. Out of school, 50K, living in a second-tier city, super great starting salary. When I was hiring people in San Francisco, you'd have to be a little bit more. You're right. So it works out as a great starting salary. And in fact, that's what a starting salary is in journalism, 45K actually. So I look at the researchers like journalists, you're starting out, show me what you got for a year or two. It's not a great salary. If you want to be a salesperson, you could probably make 50% more. You might make 75K a year. So go be a salesperson. If you want to be on this track, show me something. I want to see people earn it. And let's go. And the thing about being a VC or an investor is, it's not like being a developer where it's sought after. It's not like being a salesperson where it's sought after great salespeople. Not like being a user interface designer where it's sought after as a limited number of people. There are too many people who want to be investors. And that means you got to suffer and work for it. Just like there's too many people who want to be investments bank. You got to work for it and suffer for it. That's my belief in the system. Well, I got to 220, so now I have to take another question. If I get to 240, I will take a final question at 240 thumbs up. I'm at 223 thumbs up. I have to take one more question. If I hit 240 thumbs up on this video, I will take 240. Look at me. I'm a 50-year-old guy begging for thumbs up. I'm actually doing it because I want to see if I can create a habit of people coming in here, thumbing it up, and giving me questions. Seems to be working. Sam Harris, bestie guessing for all in. Great idea. In fact, Sam is a very close friend of mine. He was the person I talked to when I was going to make the Calm investment, and he explained to me how meditation works and that it was real. And, it was one of the reasons I invested in Calm. Here's a second thing. I was the one who got him into podcasting. I convinced him to do a podcast. I taught him how to do it. He was a guest on one of my podcasts when I was doing Mahalo, and I did an Ask Me Anything with him. And yeah, Sam is a good friend, very close friend. And he's awesome. So I think it would be a great guest to have on All In. We're not doing a lot of guests on All In because with 4 folks on the pod and we have 5 issues to get through, we usually have like 7 issues we want to hit, and we get to 3 or 4 because we do 20 minutes on the first one, then maybe 15 3 times. So I'm trying to be a better moderator. Shout out to David Sachs and get us moving on. Like the last 3 episodes ago and 2 episodes ago, the COVID discussion went 20, 30 minutes and it was really hard. Okay, I'm at 240. I got to take one more question. If I get to 260, I'll take a final question. 260 thumbs up, we get a final question. What's really interesting about this now is the ratio. We have 285 people watching live, 244 thumbs up. So almost everybody hit the thumbs up key. Thank you. And if you hit the bell, when you hit the bell on YouTube, on our channel page, you'll get an alert next time I do this. So you don't have to be on, you wouldn't have to be sitting here on YouTube and see it go by. You'll be able to, I prefer no guests on All In. Keep the guests on This Week in Startups. That was my feeling on it. But we had Brad Gerstner on, Draymond Green on. Elon said he'll come on at some point. So I think once in a while having a guest on could make it dynamic. One thing I was thinking is when somebody can't make it on the pod, like if Chamath is out of pocket, he's out of the country, maybe then have the bestie guestie on. But I also don't want to create this dynamic where if a bestie misses the show, then it's like, oh, well, we're going to replace that bestie. Like it's like the Beatles. We have something that's working. I'm trying to keep the Beatles together. I consider this like we're the Beatles. And I don't want a Yoko Ono moment where like Friedberg didn't make it the other week. We did it without him. And I kind of had misgivings about that, but I felt the audience needed a show. So I made the call. We're going to do it without Friedberg. I don't know if that was the right call. Was that the right call? What do you think? Do you think I made the right call to do the show without Friedberg? I felt guilty about it. I felt like maybe that was I think that might have been a jerk move on my part, but I also felt like you wanted a show, and the other 2 folks, Sachs and Chamath wanted to do the show. So I was like, all right, fuck it, let's do the show. If there's blame here, so people say yes, it was the right call. Somebody says no. So okay, most of you saying yes, good call. The show must go on. Okay, I think there's a reason why the term "the show must go on" exists. The show must go on. Okay, well, we're at 259. I said 260 for another question, and you guys didn't thumbs up. So, there it is. We just got to 260 thumbs up. I got to take another question. Friedberg listened, so it's all good. I think that's the point. Friedberg, after he heard it, it was a good moment for him to hear how great the show is because he's very critical on our stream. When we talk about the show, he's like, oh, I don't know the show, if it was good or not. The listeners liked it. I saw a negative comment on YouTube. I'm like, why the fuck are you reading the comments on YouTube? That's stupid. Don't read the comments. So he's particularly sensitive and thoughtful, as opposed to me and Chamath. We're just bulldogs. And so he, it was actually, he's awesome. But I think it was good for him to not be on the show, hear the show, and then reprioritize in his mind the show. I'm trying to keep Friedberg in the loop here. I'm trying to keep the Friedberg ratio very high. It's not easy to do. Okay, we're at 269. If we get to 280, I have to stay on for one more question. So if you want me to do one more question, 280 is the number right now. We're at 269. It's like a telethon here. We're at 270. If we get another 10 thumbs up, then I will take another question. 272, folks. Okay. I'm looking through the questions here. If it hits 280 in the next minute, I will do it. I will have to do it. Okay. Oh, Cole asked, Jake, how would you ever chop it up with Rogan? I actually was going to be on Rogan. Kevin Rose, back in the early days of Rogan, introduced me to him, and we couldn't sort it out. I was in LA. He had other guests, but he was like, come on the show next time. And then it's just hard to get to now, and he's so famous. But I would totally go on Joe Rogan if he wanted me. I'm not sure he needs another investor on his podcast or if he's interested in that. But sure, I would love to go on Joe Rogan. I'm a big fan of his show. And yeah, what else can I tell you? He's, again, something happened in the world where everybody feels like they have to agree with everybody else. I don't think you need to agree with everybody else. And when a comedian and UFC fighter slash trainer slash commentator is talking about COVID or talking about the vaccines or whatever, talking about conspiracy theories or has Alex Jones on, I don't look at that and say, oh, he should be banned. I'm into free speech. I got to be honest. I know that's unpopular these days, but let the man talk. Let him have conversations. If somebody's an idiot as a guest, like Alex Jones is an idiot, fine. He's an idiot. Now we all know. Or if it turns out Alex Jones is an idiot 90% of the time and 1 out of 10 times he gets something right because, a monkey throwing darts, at a dartboard or, typing an infinite number of monkeys typing on typewriters will eventually type Shakespeare. Okay, fine. That's my feeling on it. And so I like Joe Rogan. Okay, well, we hit 285. I got to take one more question. If we hit 300, I'll do a final question. Let's see. You guys have great questions. I had Jim Clark. The question was, what do I think of Jim Clark from Netscape? I had him on the podcast. He was doing a home automation company. I might not have done my best job as an interviewer, but I thought it was interesting. He's a little understated and he wasn't an easy guest to get a lot out of. I felt like maybe, I don't know if that was me. I had a bad day as an interviewer or again, he holds his, some people just are not like gonna be like Steve Jurvetson or, Chris Sacca or, have an opinion on everything. You ask them a question, they just go for it, Why do I love investing? What a great question for me to end on, Vlad. I love investing because I'm a gambler and I love the rush of placing a bet and having it pay off. That, for my brain chemistry, is awesome. Second, I love the idea that I get to support founders. I had dinner with my friend Travis not long ago, and, it was just great to be there and hear, he's very grateful for the tiny amount of support I gave him. And I'm very grateful to have been along for the ride. And I saw Vlad, last year and we were talking and, I have zero to do with the success of those two companies other than, I placed a small bet, which was modestly like 0.001% incrementally helpful. Maybe at the time it was more helpful, but in the history of it, there would be no difference whether I was an investor or not. Now, in Calm or places where I put a bigger check, that is actually instrumental. Like if you put in, 5 or 10% of the company might not exist if you hadn't put that money in. And that's actually what the Calm founders told me. So that makes your heart explode with joy. Like you're looking at the statue of David and wondering what was going through David's mind when he faced Goliath and those impossible odds. All right, listen, I love you guys. Does anybody want me to do this more often? Do you want me to do it more often? Give me a comment right now. Tell me, was this enjoyable for you? Did you like it or not? Was it good? Rate the live stream on a scale of 1 to 10. Tell me your honest opinion of how interesting this is to hear me just riff. Do you like hearing me riff? Oh, hell yeah, yes. Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it, gals. And everybody in between. Wow. Aw. That's super nice. Thanks, guys. I actually do appreciate it. More of them. Wow. 7 of 10. I'll take it. 11. Whoa. All good. This is great. I think, why didn't I do this earlier? I didn't have to log in, honestly. My people post the podcast. I don't even know how the YouTube interface works. I tried it on my iPad. Now I'm trying it on my laptop and it works. So great. All right. Love you guys. Do it hourly. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do. Next time there's a breaking news story, I'm gonna pop this up and talk about a breaking news story. So let's say Tether gets investigated by the DOJ or something happens, like, I don't know, a Tether executive were to get arrested. I'm thinking hypothetical here. Hypothetically, if something dropped, like Tether was a fraud and was confirmed, I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying hypothetically, or let's say Elizabeth Holmes is arrested and she goes to jail. Maybe I'll just start a live stream and do that. I wonder, is there a way for me in the YouTube interface to have a guest come on, like on Zoom? Because what I like about the YouTube interface is when you use these other tools that broadcast to YouTube, like you can do a Zoom and then broadcast to YouTube. That sucks because you're like you're probably 20 seconds behind the chat. And here I'm only like 5 seconds behind the chat. So when I'm on the YouTube interface, I can see the chat and it's really good. So maybe I'll try doing that. I got to figure out how to feed a guest in. That would be very cool, right? Okay. Love you guys. And I will talk to you soon. Bye bye from Tuscany.